So as you can probably guess, this video is a commentary to the comments that Reid made about Barack Obama in the upcoming book. I believe it's called Game Changer, but I'm not 100% sure. I know it's by Mark Halperin. And anyhow, he said, he thought the country was ready to elect somebody like Obama that was light-skinned and didn't speak with a Negro dialect. So I guess I'm going to deal with the skin color thing first, which got overlooked, as compared to the Negro dialect in the way that it's getting covered by the media. So, I mean, skin color is certainly historically a hierarchical way of categorizing black people, where the light-skinned people almost always are on top. And I don't think that Reid was saying anything false. Like, he and I and everybody watching this knows that if dark-skinned Jermaine or dark-skinned Deshaun had run, they would have gotten crushed. And yes, like names like Deshaun may also carry with it some sort of racial connotation, but the fact is that skin color still, at first glance, it is very important to people when they're ranking if somebody's trustworthy, if somebody's smart. Like lots of sociological studies bear this out. I'm gonna try to post some of them in the sidebar. I guess it's that way. And then secondly, the Negro dialect. Now again, I read an article about this, comparing Reid's comments to something that Archie Bunker might have said, in that a lot of people think it, but it still looks and sounds racist when it comes out. Now, African Americans speak very differently in general than do white Americans. I don't think anybody's gonna dispute that. Where I'm from, there's a DC accent, and only black people have it. The white people don't have that, the DC accent. In New York, the black people from Harlem and from Newark, even though that's in New Jersey, they talk quite differently than the white people from Manhattan and Brooklyn. They just talk differently. Black people have historically carried a southern accent with them wherever they went. Even in Chicago, you'll see people speaking with a southern accent, even though it's one of the coldest cities and it borders the Great Lakes. So that is a commentary on something that is real, but the way you go about saying it is totally wrong. The word Negro is quite antiquated. You probably shouldn't keep using it. I don't think anybody's offended when you refer to African Americans or black people as black anymore. I actually think that it's probably the best way to go. But now, obviously, Reid should not have said that. But now that it's out, I think we should examine how much truth there is in that statement. And like you've seen from what I've said already, there is quite a bit. Blacks talk differently, and the darker skinned blacks are just more intimidating to whoever has the propensity to be racist. They're going to direct that more at the dark skinned people than the light skinned people. It's just how it is. And we really should acknowledge what he said, where we elected a black guy only because he lacked certain elements of blackness. And I've said that all along, that Barack Obama did lack certain elements of blackness. And I've also been saying that we shouldn't be scared of embracing everything that's black or everything that's Asian or everything that's gay. We shouldn't rank minorities and accept the minorities that are closest to the status quo, because as we've seen with Barack Obama, that is kind of getting us in trouble, because me personally, I thought the first black president would be radical enough to actually try to accomplish something because, let's face it, he's a smart guy and he's well aware of all the dangers of being the first black president. As such, I thought he would have had more fortitude than this. So, I mean, there certainly are dangers of ranking those people, because if you want somebody to represent a certain community and they are the furthest from that community that could still be considered part of that community, you might be barking up the wrong tree. And I voted for Obama, and that may or may not have been a mistake. I still don't think it was a mistake, because I think McCain would have been worse. But even in electing the first black president, I think it's very clear that we haven't extended the right to be president to everybody. We've slightly extended it, and that's good. But we can do better. And obviously Reid's comments were stupid, ignorant, and definitely said at the wrong time. But there is stuff that can be learned from them. So, alright, peace.